Hi everybody, this is my second video for the day. I'm doing a separate one because this is mostly a different genre that I normally collect, and kind of getting into it. So let me just get into it. At the Second and Charles store, I picked up some records recently as part of their 4 for $10 sale. Their value vinyl, anything 5 and under, for 4 for $10, so basically $2.50 a piece. So along with some jazz stuff, I decided to pick up a couple of classical records. Just looking for something that's kind of an old classic era pressing from the late 50s, early 60s on some of the labels I'm familiar with. So I picked up some, this is Stravinsky's The Firebird Ballet. Of course, I'm familiar with the part of it you hear like at the beginning of the Yes, I guess the Yes songs record, beginning their concert down there close to the Edge tour. They'd play the Firebird Suite by Stravinsky, a little bit of that right before they kicked into Siberian Quatre at the beginning of their concert. So I was familiar with that one little snippet, and I was kind of hoping that this whole recording would be like that. Really like dynamic stuff, and that's actually the very last part of this whole record, which is what segues into the beginning of the Yes concert that I always heard. But it's mostly a very quiet kind of recording, but I really enjoyed it quite a bit. This is on the Columbia Masterworks label. I think it's a 6i, yeah. Stereo 6i, 6i but black and gray is what their Masterworks ones were at the time, in the original plastic inner sleeve. So it's kind of cool. This one I picked up just because the cover looked kind of cool. It looked kind of gimmicky, so I thought maybe it's just kind of like a lightweight recording. But it's living stereo, with a little living stereo in the corner there. Classic RCA Victor red seal. Their kind of collectible classical records label. Yeah, Venice, Solti and Orchestra of the Royal Opera House, Covent Garden. So I'd read online the kind of the collectible, looks like the collectible classical record stuff from like the classic era from the late 50s to early 60s. One of them is RCA Victor, the Red Dog or Shaded Dog. Shaded Dog they call it. It's Red Seal's label. But the Shaded Dog, it's got a red background, and then his master's voice, the little dog listening to the phonograph, and there's shading behind him, kind of a dark, shadowy shading behind the dog. That's the one you want to get, and living stereo preferably. And so I picked it up. It's kind of cool. It's got the nice, little gimmicky, but it's got the die-cut cover. And then inside there's sort of a booklet. This one's in pretty good shape. It's not perfect, obviously, but a little booklet talking about Venice, and I guess about the music and stuff. And the record's in actually very good shape. It's got like maybe 3 scuffs, but nothing that really affects play too much. And so just out of curiosity, I cleaned it up. It was real dusty on the cover, wiped it down with a Clorox wipe, and it cleaned it up really well. So just out of curiosity, I went online and checked the value, and a wide range of values on PopPsych, it looks like, where they show like actual completed auction prices. But this is an actual 1S pressing, 1S stampers on each side. I checked the dead wax, and it looks like those go for quite a bit. So I'm not sure. Maybe it's worth something, maybe not. But I really like the recording, so I'm just going to keep it and listen to it and enjoy it. And then that's Second and Charles, and then so Goodwill here in town, they got a whole bunch of vinyl in. Most of it kind of your typical thrift store crap, but kind of went through and looked for anything, any of the old classic era, late 50s, early 60s, classical on vinyl. Some of the labels I've read up on and got familiar with, so I picked some of those up. The Everest label, this is the Everest Stereo. See there, Everest Stereo pressing of Brahms Symphony No. 3. I'm not familiar with classical music. It's not my thing at all, but I enjoy listening to it. I just don't know anything about it. So just kind of for fun. I mean, it's eight records for $2 at Goodwill, so I figure that's kind of a good place to pick up some nice kind of the classic pressings of classical music from that era. Some RCA Victor, Red Seal. Unfortunately, this one is mono, but Toscanini. Columbia. Let's see. Let me do another RCA Victor. This one's a little beat up, the jacket. But another Red Seal, mono. It's really the living stereo ones that, for most part, people are really after. But like I said, I've read online they say for like kind of chamber music and stuff that's more heavily focused on like solo violin, it doesn't really matter if it's mono. It doesn't make that much difference. When you have a big orchestra, of course, you want to have the stereo range. Mozart. This is on Columbia Masterworks. This is a mono. Gotta give that a shot. Epic. This is kind of cool on the Epic label. It's a Epic Gold label. And this is Tristan and Isolde, Wagner. Again, I don't really know much about classical music. My sister-in-law actually was a music major in college and talks a lot about it, and I don't know. When people talk about classical music, a lot of times it just turns me off. Like it's their world and they know everything about it, and you're kind of just a dummy. Some people get like that with jazz. Nice stereo 360 sound. Horowitz returns to an historic return. Horowitz at Carnegie Hall, double record gatefold set here. I'd read something about this in the book about Columbia Records called The Label. Kind of a big deal recording. Apparently is very well received, so I gotta pick this up. 2i Columbia 360 sound stereo pressing here. So I haven't given this one a listen yet, but I'm working through trying to clean some of these up. I got about 5 or 6 I cleaned this morning. And this one on, what label is this? This is Decca US here. Andres Segovia on guitar. I don't think this is really worth anything, but I think I'd give some classical guitar a listen. Let me see. But okay, this is why I picked it up. It's kind of cool. Decca Gold Label Records. Got the original inner sleeve. Got that cool at the black with silver print Decca label I'm used to, but that one. And let's see what else. On the same classical kick, a couple little RCA Victor 7 inches. These are excerpts on red vinyl from Carmen by Leopold Stokowski conducting. I picked a couple of these up. I found I guess they were originally from a 7-inch set. It's kind of cool, red vinyl. This one on Decca. This is U.S. pressing here. Leroy Anderson. I was not familiar with Leroy Anderson, but one of the titles on the back kind of intrigued me. Jazz Pizzicato / Jazz Legato. So I figured I'd give it a shot, and one of the first things the first track actually on the record here, dun, 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 Sleigh Ride. So I'm like, well, that's kind of cheesy. Why would you do that on your record? Well, he wrote that track. Yeah, he wrote that music. It was only later that someone added lyrics to it, and it became a big hit, I guess, or about the same time. I think it happened pretty quickly. I think that was the Andrews Sisters, but anyway, he's the guy who wrote the music. Kind of light listening stuff, more fun kind of music. This one I picked up just for fun. This is kind of a neat thing. It's on RCA Victor. It is, let's see, Breck presents. Breck introduces beautiful hair. Breck introduces the RCA Victor New golden age of sound albums. So you got this nice shiny gold thing. It says somewhere on here like printed on Alcoa, printed on strong Alcoa wrap, as bright and new as living stereo. So it's kind of got a mixture of the living stereo recordings on one side and the Red Seal classical stuff on the other side of the record, which is really cool because you've got kind of your living stereo type label there, and then the other side of the record you've got the Shaded Dog Red Steel label. So I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, nice compilation. Cool gold foil kind of cover there with the actual covers of the records printed on top of the gold foil, and an ad for Breck shampoos and stuff, and the picture looks like it's from the 1930s or 40s. Really kind of weird. Doesn't look like something from the late 50s or I guess early 60s probably. But I thought that was kind of cool, and you can actually see the little Alcoa aluminum foil thing down there when they talk about it being printed on Alcoa foil. So that was pretty neat. Let's see what else. In the original sleeve, but missing a jacket, some Souter Finnegan concert jazz. I've seen these guys' names before. I didn't know what the deal was. I guess they're kind of like a Stan Kenton thing, sort of a small orchestra that plays. Here comes a hairball. Small orchestra that plays kind of jazz type stuff. So I figured I'd pick that up. Really nice, clean vinyl on that. Maybe eventually I'll find the jacket that goes with it. And some jazz. Picked up some Count Basie arrangements by Quincy Jones. This is, what label is this? Doesn't even say on the outside, I don't think. Oh, this is on the Reprise. Standard Reprise label there from the time. So that sounds kind of cool. Some good players on here. Count Basie on piano, Sonny Cohn, Tad Jones on trumpets, Irby Green on trombones along with other guys, Frank West on tenor sax, Frank Foster on tenor sax and clarinet, Freddie Green on guitar. So pretty cool. Guitar player, I pick up stuff by Al Caiola. It's one of his, he was under contract with United Artists for years. So this is his take on Hawaiian music here, Paradise Village. And some more guitar music. This is, let's see, the 50 Guitars of Tommy Garrett. 50 Guitars Go South of the Border, Volume 2. And another gimmicky die-cut cover here. I don't even know why they bothered, but it's kind of cool. Yeah, but really nice shape, so I didn't mind picking this up. I like to pick up guitar albums and listen along. This one's got a nice kind of cool Liberty Gold label. I don't think I've seen that before. I know I've read like some of the players on this 50 Guitars is like George Barnes, I think Tommy Tedesco. I don't think Al Caiola or Tony Mottola was part of the deal, but some of the more interesting session guitarists at the time. So that's it. My foray into classical music there. I'm starting to get into picking some of those up, and of course some fun jazz and guitar stuff in there as well. Oh, one more. I picked this one up. It's a digital recording, but I just kind of wanted to pick it up to see what the sound was like. This is London digital recording, their FFRR full frequency range recording. This is imported pressing. I guess it was pressed in the UK. Imported here. I figured I'd give it a shot, give it a listen, see what it sounded like. Got the original inner sleeve there. So yeah, just kind of get my feet wet in classical music. Seeing what the deal is. Alright guys, see you next time.